How's it going, everybody? My name is James, also known as NOCOUBERGUY on Facebook. You can look up my page. I just want to talk for a minute about this strike that's coming up this weekend. And, you know, if Uber drivers want to strike, that's perfectly acceptable. I have no issue with that. That's their right. Absolutely their right to do so. But in the last 3 days, I have received text messages from local drivers stating that it's hazardous to my health and the health of my passengers and my vehicle if I decide to drive and be a scab, and that's pathetic. Okay, you guys have the right to strike. I have the right to work. I'm a full-time Uber driver. This is all I do. I do not have a second job. I do not have a full-time job on the side. This is my only source of income. So unless these guys want to cough up enough money to pay me for the week that I need to make to keep my bills paid and keep my lights on and food on the table for my children, then I'm more than happy to stand around all weekend and do nothing and hold a sign and scream and yell. But they're not going to do that. They're willing to spend $500-$600 on signs, but you know what? I got bills to pay, man. And if you can't understand that, then there's something wrong with you. Just because you have a secondary income and your bills are paid doesn't mean I do. What I do in my house, you might not do in your house. And so you have the right to strike. I have the right to work. And you can't tell me or threaten me by saying you better not work or you're going to get hurt. You know what, guys? I have attorneys. And if somebody hurts my car or my passengers or me, they're going to owe me everything they ever had, period. I've already advised my law firm of what's going on. They've already said if anything happens, call us right away. We'll take it from there. I've already spoken with the police department. They know what's going on. I've showed them the texts. See, you know who sent it to me, too. And, I don't have any problem with you guys striking. I think it's a good thing. But that doesn't mean I have to participate. I played hockey for 2.5 years. I didn't come to your house and say, hey, you know what? You need to play hockey too, or I'm going to kick your ass. So threatening me is most probably the worst way to get me to do what you want to do. I'm a hard-headed son of a bitch, and I will do the exact opposite of what you tell me to do if you threaten me. And being an atheist is another thing. This is just like religion, man. Do as I say. Believe in what I believe, or you're going to burn in hell forever. Hey, do as I say or do what I wanted you to do or we're going to kick your ass. You know what? Fuck you. That's what I think about that. And if you got a problem with me, you know where I live. Come to my house. Yeah, Uber has a no firearms policy. But you know what? City of Fort Collins also has laws against threatening people and attempting to coerce them into do stuff, vandalism, physical violence. I mean, you guys are taking this way too damn far. Striking is one thing. Threatening other drivers is completely another thing. And I guarantee if somebody comes after me this weekend, they better kill me. Because if they don't, they're going to get hurt. I will defend myself, and I will defend my passengers. As an Uber driver, I take very seriously the safety of my passengers. I spend thousands of dollars to make sure my car is up to par. It is perfectly safe. Oil's changed on time. Front end alignments, new tires, brakes, everything else. I go out of my way to make sure that my car is in perfect working order to do this job. I spend a lot of money. And I don't see anybody else walking up to me, handing me money, saying, hey, we want to support you in this. No, it's me. The only person I can rely on in this life is me. I can't rely on anybody else to pay my bills or anything else. I have 5 kids that I got to support. And for some people to come around and tell me that I cannot work this weekend because they want to strike, not acceptable. You strike. But here's what's going to happen. And here's the truth of the whole thing. This is the truth of the whole damn thing. Uber does not give two shits about the drivers, and you guys know that. You guys know this, okay? We are a liability to them. Anything we do, they take the fall for. They get sued for. They get put in the news for. Anything, little bad thing we do, they're the ones that get hit with the bad news. I Googled it. There's not a single thing online about drivers getting sued. It's all about Uber getting sued. So Uber doesn't care about us. Okay? So you need to understand this. We are a liability. We take 80% of their money. We get 80% of the total fare. To them, they look at that and say, those guys took 80% of our money. Okay? Yeah, we did the job. Yeah, we did all the driving. We paid all the bills for that. But the way they look at it, we're a liability. Who are the assets for Uber? I'll tell you who the assets are. The assets are the riders. Okay? You want to make a change? You want Uber to listen to what we have to say? This strike is ridiculous. All they're going to do is just go out and bring in more drivers. I mean, think about that. They'll probably deactivate half of you once they find out who you are. And then they'll just go out and get more drivers. And you're out of a job. 30 new drivers come in. And guess what? We're all screwed. Okay? Here's how you make a change. You go to your passengers. You print up a flyer and say, we as Uber drivers need your help. This is what we're trying to accomplish with Uber. They will not listen to us. List all the stuff and say, please, please send an email to Uber in support of your local drivers. Otherwise, we're not going to be here. We'll all eventually quit. And then you won't have Uber in your town. Then you'll have to go back to taxis and public transportation. Okay? Put an email address to Uber on there. So there's no question about where they need to send this. Write up a pre-made email that they can send in. If every driver in every town that's going to strike would do this and get, instead of having 50,000 drivers on strike, have 50,000 or 60,000 or 80,000 or 100,000 riders sending in emails to Uber saying, look, you need to treat your drivers better. You need to do this. You need to do that. Whatever they're asking for. And they're going to listen to those guys. Why? Because they're an asset. They're the ones that spend the money with Uber. We're not spending money with Uber. We're taking money from Uber as drivers. And you guys need to understand this. You know, you guys bitch and moan about not having a tip option on the damn application. Big deal. So what? I always bring that up in conversation with my riders. Always. They always ask me, so how much money do you make as an Uber driver? And I just say, you know, hey, it's not great. Sometimes we make enough to pay the bills and that's it. But if people would tip or were allowed to tip, then it would be a whole lot better. And you know what the reaction is from 99.999% of my riders is? Yeah, man, I wish they'd put a tip option on that rider app. That would be friggin' awesome. I'd love to tip you guys. You know what I say? I say, you know what? If you really want to tip, I can accept cash. And I'm also set up with Square and I can take credit card tips. And you know what? I bring in $150 to $200 a month, or a week in tips. Just by having that short 2-minute conversation with a rider. I tell them it's not required. They don't have to tip. It's not a prerequisite to riding with Uber. But most people want to tip. We are in a service industry. You tip your waiters. You tip your pizza guy. You tip your frickin' order up guys. So we should be allowed to be tipped. And people want to tip you. Believe me, if you treat them right, give them a good, safe ride, play some music that they want to hear. I have iHeartRadio. I have a freaking 10-inch pad in my car with iHeartRadio playing all the time, right up where they can see it. And I say, hey, if you want to hear something different, what kind of music do you like? I'll put it on for you. And they love that stuff, man. They love it. But, you know, you get drivers that I've heard about, especially in my area, they don't speak English. They don't know the town. They don't follow the GPS system. They don't even try and use it half the time. They don't know what is going on. They do no homework at all about what's going on in their particular city. And then they wonder why they have low ratings and no tips. You know? Yeah, Uber should pay us more. You know what? I agree with that 100%. But you know what? It is what it is. We are independent contractors. We signed an agreement to work for Uber and do a job for Uber at the price they pay us. Okay? If you don't like what they're paying you and you don't like what's going on, guess what? You have the option to turn the app off and go do something else. You know, if you want to be a better driver and you want to make money at this, learn. Educate yourself. Learn how to deal with people. Learn how to strike up a conversation, for crying out loud. I've been in Ubers myself, because I do use Uber, and I've used it like 3 or 4 times, and I've only had one good experience. The rest of them were people just bitching about their lives, bitching about their wives, bitching about Uber, bitching about this, bitching about that. You know what? I don't get in an Uber to listen to you bitch about your life. I get into an Uber to get from point A to point B and possibly have a pleasant conversation or listen to some good music along the way. You know? And until people start realizing this, guess what? Nothing's going to change. Strikes, not going to change anything. I mean, yeah, Uber might listen to a couple of options, but you know what? All it's going to do is piss them off. And they're going to be like, you know what? Let's just make it so unbearable that all these people quit. And then we'll bring in a whole new crew of drivers that accept the new terms, and we'll take 100% of their friggin' commissions and charge this and charge that, and pretty soon, you know. But, you know, it doesn't matter anyway, because this is a temporary gig for all of us. You guys need to understand that. This is a temporary gig. You guys think you're going to make a living off of this for the next 20 years? You're wrong. It's not going to happen. They are working so hard with so many different companies to come out with driverless cars. They're going to have them within the next 3 to 5 years. Mark my words, man. I mean, they've already got driverless cars. They're testing. Once they get them perfected, guess what? We're all out of a job. So you guys need to start looking towards the future. Quit screaming and yelling about the now. If you don't like what's going on, change it, not by striking or threatening or anything else, but by going out and changing who you are and how you do business. You know, because like I said, I've been in Ubers and one good ride out of all my Ubers. One good ride. You know, you need to educate your riders. Educate them on the rating system. I always bring that up during the conversation. I'm like, hey, you know, Uber gives you an option of 1 to 5 for your ride. What do you feel is a fair rating for a good ride? You know what everybody says? Well, not everybody. About 80 to 90% say, well, a 3 out of a 5 is really a good rating. And then I explain to them, well, you know, even though Uber gives you a 1 to 5, for us, we're on a simple pass-fail scale with them. 4 is fail, 5 is pass. If you give us a 4, we failed and we could be deactivated. And they're like, what? That's unreal. And I said, yeah, and that's how it works for us. I've picked up riders with a 2.1 rating, and they're still active, but we go below 4.6 or 4.5 or whatever they tell us, and we get deactivated for that. And it's probably something we didn't even do, you know? And so it's just one of those deals where we need to educate ourselves as drivers, and we need to educate the riders as well. Because going on strike is going to do nothing but piss Uber off, piss the riders off, you know, and cost lives. Because you and I both know we're saving lives, period. All there is to it. End of story. That is the main reason why I do this. It is not the money, obviously. But the point is I personally save 10 to 15 DUIs a weekend. 10 to 15 myself every single weekend. Okay? Take that times all these Uber drivers out there on the same weekend. That's millions. Millions of DUIs saved. And over the course of a year, just on average, you could figure you're saving 15 to 20 lives where people would have gotten behind the wheel that shouldn't have. And they didn't have the option to take Uber because we were on strike. And a bunch of people die over the weekend because of us. That's pretty selfish, man. You know, if you're in it just for the money, fine, then go work, because that's why you're in it. If you're in it for something else, then go do it because of that. But if you're in it just to bitch and moan and complain and sit around and holler and picket and all this other crap, go find something else to do, man. We got better things to do with our time than sit around and scream and yell. Yeah, changes need to be made, but I've already talked about how to make those. Those are the best ways to make those changes. So, if you have anything to say, more than welcome to put your comments down below. I'll respond to them as quick as I can. Some of you are going to hate me, some of you are going to love me, but you know what? Everybody's an individual, and we all have the right to do what we want to do. This is America, goddammit. This is not Red China. You don't have the right to tell me what I can and can't do, and you don't have the right to threaten me. Because I guarantee you, I may be short and I may be fat, but you know what? I know how to defend myself. And if somebody comes after me this weekend, they will regret it. I may lose, but they're going to darn well know that they have been in a fight. So, that's all there is to it, man. And believe me, it's just not a wise choice to threaten people, because then you got people strapping up, packing, ready for you, you know, and that's just dumb. You know, even Uberman talked about this in one of his videos, and I highly respect that guy. I've talked to him several times, and him and I are on the same page on this. You know, you guys want to strike, strike. That's fine. You have that right. This is America. But I have the right to work, and nobody's going to tell me whether I can or cannot work. And that's all there is to it. And I apologize if my language has offended you, but you know what? I'm a very direct person. I don't lie. I don't need to lie. And when I say something, I mean it. And that's all there is to it. So if you're offended by my language, blow it off. Grow up. Grow a pair. Because this is real life, man. People are screwing with my income. People are screwing with my family. People are screwing with my bills. People are screwing with me. And I'm not going to tolerate it. You know? So, you guys do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. And the rest of us, whatever. You know? If you don't like it, I'm sorry. But, you know, the way I look at it, Uber's changed my life. Before, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week for a company that didn't appreciate me and didn't have money for raises, but yet they could go out and hire their family members for $60,000 a year. Worked 2.5 years at the same company, wasn't even making $10 an hour. Now I work for Uber full-time, and I make more than $10 an hour after paying my bills. And that's another thing that I'll make a video on later about, you know, why people think they're not making any money, because they just don't understand what they're doing. When you come from a 9-to-5 mindset and then try and run a business, it's just not a good mix. You need to educate yourself as a driver, as a business owner, because that's exactly what this is. We are business owners. We're running our own business. If I went out and opened a taco stand and nobody came and bought my tacos, who the hell would I strike to? You know? But yet, here's these people thinking, well, I'll just strike and they'll give me, you know, all this money. No, it's not going to work that way. You're just going to piss them off. So it's time to grow up and get over it and go out there and do your job, or don't. If you want to strike, strike. If you want to work, work. But the middle ground right in between there, you do not have the right to threaten me. You do not have the right to threaten anybody. You do not have the right to tell us, you better not work. It could be hazardous to your health. Nobody wants scabs breaking a picket line. Hey, you know what? It's America. I'm going to do what I want. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not hurting anybody. And that's that. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I will be making more videos. And you guys have a great day. And Uber on.